Good morning, students. So this is our chapter 7, unit 2nd and part 1, evolution. So in evolution, we will study about what is life, events in the history of life, origin of universe, origin of life, and theories of origin of life, and theories of special creation, and theory of spontaneous generation. First of all, we must understand that what is life. Life is an inherent capacity that an organism possesses to maintain and reproduce itself. Philosophers have different views about life. Here we study the biological aspects of life. It means in this chapter we'll study about biological aspect of life. So events in the history of life. The history of life comprises two events. First, the origin of life, and second, the evolution of life. So origin of life we'll study in this chapter, and evolution means the mechanism involved in the changes of living organisms through time. Means previous how the organisms were, and after millions of years what changes have occurred in the human beings and other creatures also. So we'll study in this chapter all these concepts. So in this style, we'll study about origin of universe. There are several theories regarding the origin of universe, but the most accepted theory is Big Bang theory. What does it say? The theory was proposed by Lemaitre in 1931. According to Big Bang theory, about 20 billion years ago, cosmic matter was in condensed form. A fairy is like looking like fire. Explosion took place which broke the condensed matter and scattered its fragments into space in an enormous velocity, making a big bang sound, and thus the theory came to be known as Big Bang theory. Immediately after the explosion, the universe or the cosmos expanded rapidly from a size of a pin to about 2000 times the size of the sun. Next one is nebular hypothesis. Our solar system is being explained by nebular hypothesis. So nebular hypothesis is one of the most popular hypothesis to explain the origin of solar system. Nebular hypothesis was first proposed by Kant in 1755. According to this hypothesis, our solar system was probably created about 4.5 to 5 billion years ago when the gaseous cloud called solar nebula was formed. As the cloud condensed, the central mass formed the sun, and the peripheral celestial bodies in the sky form planets, satellites, asteroids, meteors, and comets, forming the solar system. Thus, the sun, along with its peripheral celestial bodies, comprise the solar system. So, the solar system comprises the sun, the 8 planets, and their satellites, asteroids, comets, and meteors, all these things. Just like and the study of origin of universe is called cosmogony, and the study of universe is called cosmology. And now we'll study about our earth in section. The earth was supposed to have been formed about 4.5 billion years ago, which was later differentiated into three main parts as you're watching in the diagram. Outermost part is called crust, is the outermost part which is solid, rocky surface of the earth. Next, the middle one part is called mantle. It's a middle part of the earth which is solid and consists of iron, magnesium and silicates. And next, inner core, and the core, it is the central part of the earth which is differentiated into semi-solid outer core and the solid inner core. Outer core, which is composed of, each originally had only two components, solid mass called lithosphere surrounded by a gaseous envelope termed atmosphere, and liquid component known as hydrosphere appeared later when the earth cooled down to a temperature below 100 degrees Celsius. This is about earth in section. So these are some theories for the origin of life. First of all, there is theory of special creation. So, according to Bible, the first man Adam and the first woman Eve were created by God. According to Hindu mythology, also we know that word was created by God Brahma. The first man was Manu and the first woman was Shraddha. A special creation theory lacks scientific evidence, so it was not accepted later on. Next one is theory of spontaneous generation. So this theory states that life originated from non-living things in a spontaneous manner. In ancient Egypt, it was believed that mud of the Nile would give rise to frogs, toads, snakes, snakes, mile, and even mice, and even crocodiles when warmed by the sun. So, when Helmont held the human sweat and wheat grains could give rise to organisms, he placed a dirty shirt in a receptacle containing wheat bran and found that after 21 days, the gases from the shirt and wheat had formed living mice. But these theories have no scientific grounds, so they were discarded. So, next to this, in evidences against the theory of spontaneous generation are Reddy's experiment and the theory of postures experiment. So what does Reddy's experiment says? In Reddy's experiment, he took the fish and cooked it so that no organisms were left alive. Then he placed flesh in three jars, of which one is uncovered, the second was covered with parchment, and the third one was covered with fine muslin. He kept these jars for a few days and observed that maggots developed only in the uncovered jar through the flies also visited other jars, though the flies also visited the other jars. So like this, Pasteur's experiment is also on the swan neck flask theory. Swan neck, if the flask with swan neck means curved neck, is kept for months together, no life appeared as the germs laden dust particles in the air were trapped by curved neck which serve as a filter. So if swan neck was broken off, the broths developed colonies of molds and bacteria, etc. So these are the two theories which are against the theory of spontaneous generation. Next one is the theory of panspermia or spore theory. This theory was proposed by Richter. According to this theory, protoplasm reached the earth in the form of spores or germs or other simple particles from some unknown part of the universe with the cosmic dust and subsequently evolved into various forms of life. So this and this is evidences against cosmozoic theory. Living matter cannot survive the extreme cold, dryness, ultraviolet radiations from the sun required to be crossed for reaching the earth. So as the theory, panspermia theory, according to panspermia theory, it was thought that universe and other spores, etc., could freely travel through space from one star to others, but evidences against cosmozoic theory are there. So this was also discarded. Next one is theory of modern theory or O'Brien Haldane theory of origin of life. We'll study in the next lecture. According to modern theory or O'Brien Haldane theory of origin of life, life originated upon our earth spontaneously from non-living matter. First, inorganic compounds and then organic compounds were formed in accordance with ever-changing environmental conditions. This is called chemical evolution, which cannot occur under present environmental conditions upon Earth. Conditions suitable for origin of life existed only upon primitive Earth. So, according to modern views regarding the origin of life, includes chemical evolution and biological evolution. So, we'll study about chemical evolution. Chemical evolution, chemogeny, involves the atomic phase. Early Earth has innumerable atoms of all those elements, for example, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, etc., which were essential for the formation of protoplasm. Next is formation of simple molecules. Free atoms combine to form simple molecules such as hydrogen, nitrogen, water, methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide. So all these hydrogen atoms were most numerous and most reactive in primitive atmosphere. First, hydrogen atoms combined with all oxygen atoms to form water and leaving no free oxygen. This primitive atmosphere was reducing atmosphere, means without free oxygen, unlike the present oxidizing atmosphere. So oxygen atoms also combined with nitrogen forming ammonia. So water and ammonia were probably the first molecules of primitive Earth. Next one is formation of simple organic molecules. So formation of simple organic molecules, the early simple molecules interacted and produced simple organic molecules such as simple sugars. As you're watching in the slide, that methane, carbon dioxide, water are going to form glycerol, sugars and fatty acids, and likewise methane, hydrogen cyanide, ammonia, water are going to form purines and pyrimidines. Purine and pyrimidines are the constant structures of nucleic acids, and then methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide, water are going to form amino acids. So all these are going to form organic molecules. So this is theory of O'Brien-Haldane theory of origin of life, and it was supported by Miller's experiment. Miller's experiment we'll study in next slide.